Good morning, everyone. I'm Taste and See reporter T.A. Walker.
And I'm digital producer Victoria Lewis here at WPTV. Good morning.
Good morning. There's so much to talk about. My head needs duct tape. I feel like it's going to explode. From politics to fun we had this weekend here in South Florida, we got a lot to get over. First, I want to start with the new redistricting maps. Now, Victoria, give us a little bit of background before we get into what happened yesterday. You can see my dog down there wagging his tail. Before we get into what happened yesterday. Hi, here. Well, now that you've stopped the show.
Sure. Yes, you have to come say hi, Tito.
Hi.
Hi. Now that is a good morning. Basically what happened, as we all know, every 10 years with the census, congressional maps are redrawn to kind of reflect, population changes and things like that. So a lot of different states, Florida, we're one of the last ones to get our maps in, have been drawing these. Some have been struck down by courts. I mean, Florida has trended so many times on Twitter this week. It's always just like Floridians on Twitter. And I'm like, God, what did we do now? Like, we are the national conversation right now.
There you go.
So basically what happened was that is usually left up to the legislature for them to draw those districts.
Right.
They passed a map that was actually pretty even, given the split of Democrats and Republicans in Florida. It pretty much, people said it was representative of the populations. Well, DeSantis vetoed it. And They were having a special session to redraw it. This has to kind of be decided as we're going now. We're almost to the midterms. It feels like, 2022 here.
Of course.
And DeSantis actually proposed his own map, which is a bit unusual, proposed that to the legislature. There was some, debate as to whether or not they were going to go with it. They did. That passed last night.
Let's listen to Lisa Paul, who filed this report.
And hold back, saying the governor and his Republican supporters are determined to strip both representation and the vote from the Black community, turning back the clock to the 1950s.
WPTV's Lenny Supal explains the fight over voting rights is as intense as it's been in 60 years.
Ron DeSantis is a bully. Yep. Ron DeSantis does not care about Black people. I will not bite my tongue.
Outrage trickling from Tallahassee to South Florida tonight.
There is an incessant attack on Black people in the state of Florida.
Florida's Black lawmakers taking aim at Governor Ron DeSantis after the state legislature passed new congressional district maps. The governor presented the latest maps after he vetoed the two bipartisan versions lawmakers produced earlier this year.
The map was drawn by the governor and his staff, and it was handed to the legislature, and it removed two of the four Black-leaning congressional districts.
Political analyst Brian Crowley weighing in.
I can understand why some of the members of the House, Black members of the House, were angry enough to suggest that the governor hates Black people. I'm not going to say whether or not they're right or wrong, but he's certainly not doing the Black community any favors by reducing their influence in Congress.
That redistricting that's another disguise.
Cynthia Becton is a passionate voter in Riviera Beach, keeping a close watch on the movement.
You don't throw roadblocks. There are other roadblocks. There are too many other things that are stumbling blocks. You don't need to be passing laws that makes it difficult for people to vote. And then I see a situation in this era, in this 2022, where we're going backwards. That's discouraging.
She remembers voting at a time when discriminatory voting practices were prevalent and the Black community faced barriers between the ballot box. Improvements finally came in 1965 when President Lyndon B. Johnson passed the Voting Rights Act. But the Supreme Court under Justice John Roberts has reversed much of its effect. Fears about voter suppression still linger.
I've done the marching. I've done the sit-ins. I've done all of that. I paid my dues.
Lenny Supal, WPTV, News Channel 5.
We didn't see Lenny in that package, but obviously thank you for filing that. And then what we didn't hear in that story was the governor's reasoning for wanting to eliminate those districts. Obviously, Victoria, you were saying it's probably because?
Sure. So he did talk a little bit about gerrymandering and said that he did not like that Northeast Florida district spans so far to include and it was like the largest minority district in Florida. Although now with his new maps, there are maps that kind of stretch that far, including one that goes across Tampa Bay. And about 10 years ago, that's what got Florida's map thrown out and redrawn again, is that it crossed Tampa Bay. Could happen again this time. I anticipate this will go to the courts, but will it happen in time for midterms? We just don't know.
a lot of things could go to the court. We'll get to our next story in just a second, but I wanted to say
That's
hello
the story
to
of Florida.
Dennis, good morning to you. Barbara, good morning from
Morning.
South Andros, Bahamas. And Andy's angry. Dennis, hello from Fort Myers. Andy thinks we're a national embarrassment. Raphael says Florida's worst governor ever, and then he has a long diatribe there.
People feel very strongly.
Christy says thank you for not buying into the racial stuff. Lori says the governor is a disgrace. Bill is talking about our next story about boycott. We'll get there about Disney. Jeanette says Florida, love it or leave it. That's a very narcissistic attitude, I would say.
I was born here. I can dislike it at any time I want.
Raphael says Florida's worst governor. I think we had him before, didn't we? Yeah, we did. He's posted twice. Sue says hi, TA from Palm City. Good morning, Sue Green.
Hi, Sue.
Janet continues and said, I'm so sick of the race card. Everyone is over it. Christy says, okay. Dave says, I bet you, okay, get on subject here, folks. Now I'm going to
I'm just going to argue in the comments. This is Facebook after all. Stay true to that Facebook.
This has nothing to do with voting. Let's keep going. I'm trying to put something I can put up. Sorry, guys. We're just going to move on to our next story.
We got some more people mentioning Disney there in the comments, whether they do or don't want to go. I'll say I was there a couple weeks ago. Seems like everybody's there. I have never seen such long lines in my life. I'm not waiting 70 minutes for basically teacups.
Yeah, Charlie, who just said hello, my boyfriend, he said, hi. We were at Epcot about 2 months ago, and I always start in Mexico because I love
Yes, that's the rule.
Well, then you get stuck in Mexico. You got to end in Mexico. That's the trick. But we started
and end in Mexico. Full circle.
Full circle. The problem was that the line for the quick serve margaritas did not move, number one. Number two, the line backed up into the next country's pavilion. And it was very hot. So we ended up walking to the United States to get some Texas brisket. So I had some semblance of Tex-Mex in my life. I don't know.
It sounds like a great day still. Any day at Disney is better than most of the other days.
So Disney is at the heart of the governor's agenda this week too. The so-called Don't Say Gay Bill, the Parents' Bill of Rights. Disney responded by saying that they are not going to contribute to campaign funds. And this report comes into us from WPTV.
Vote only further intensifies the showdown between DeSantis and Disney. Added into that equation, Florida tourism dollars. Hospitality experts are keeping a close watch over Florida's economic engines. And WPTV's Todd Wilson is here with their insights. Todd?
Yeah, I spoke to several tourism experts who say they're not surprised by the vote, but what comes next is critical. In Florida, tourism is big business to the tune of nearly $100 billion, and Disney is at the heart of that industry.
Many feel that Disney had an unfair advantage. I think that the timing was appropriate for the governor to move forward with his initiative. The politics behind it is far astray from what happened in reality to their day-to-day operations going forward.
Peter Ritchie, the director of Florida Atlantic University's Hospitality and Tourism Management, he says the current showdown has multiple layers. One factor Ritchie points to is the pressure facing Disney CEO Bob Chapek.
I feel that there was a heavy hand on him as the leader to listen to his cast members and to follow that pathway. However, the shareholders will now face the impediments of longer processes for permitting, of longer access times to do construction, and a myriad number of things that will shake out of this.
With lawmakers revoking Disney's self-governing status, serious questions remain, including just who will foot the bill for all the essential services. Orange County Mayor Jerry Deming says his county is facing a great unknown.
There's some complex issues here that are not yet defined based upon the proposed language that I've seen. The devil's in the details, and we quite simply today do not have the details.
Tourism across our state has continued to rebound, surpassing pre-pandemic levels. Jan Jones, a hospitality and tourism expert with the University of New Haven, says that won't disappear because of one decision.
I think that people are still going to go to Disney. They still want to go to Disney. And that in some ways, this actually may generate some very positive publicity for them. And I think that's a good thing.
Jones says what will change is the way Disney does business in Florida and the potential impact for Central Florida residents.
There are a lot of other industries that have now been working for many, many years in this capacity, and that's going to change.
Well, the measure now goes to Governor DeSantis for him to sign. Now, if he does sign, that means that Disney's special privileges will dissolve by June 2023. In Palm Beach County, Todd Wilson, WPTV News Channel 5.
Thanks, Todd. The thing that struck me from that story was, are the two counties that Disney is in, are they
definitely
to absorb those costs? The Today Show addressed that issue this morning.
Individuals in Orange County and Osceola County, surrounding counties, to absorb cost burdens that we had nothing to do with. The taxpayers of Orange and Osceola County are not in the fight with the mouse. The governor is.
And then,
I definitely
go ahead.
I was gonna say I definitely relate personally to that because my grandparents, they've lived in Orange County since the 1950s. They bought their house for $20,000, and they've paid it off since well before I was born. But now they're 86 on a fixed income, and they're looking at an increased tax bill of $2,000 a year from this. And they wanted to be in that house forever. So you just kind of have to go back and re-examine that because when they're on Social Security and they have a lot of cost. It's gonna fall on them. It's not hurting Disney as much as it's gonna hurt them.
We'll get back to that because that's a valid point. First, I want to go to Kerry Sanders, who brings the governor's perspective.
This morning, Republican Governor Ron DeSantis escalating his fight against the house that Mickey built, pressuring state lawmakers to repeal Disney World's unique self-governing authority, the little-known Reedy Creek Improvement District that dates back to the late 60s.
They will be considering the congressional map, but they also will be considering termination of all special districts that were enacted in Florida prior to 1968, and that includes the Reedy Creek Improvement District.
How unprecedented is it for a governor to take on Disney in Florida?
It's highly unusual to see an out-and-out fight between one of the most powerful and important companies in the state.
Political insiders say the battle is really over Florida's new parental rights and education law, which opponents, including some vocal Disney employees, call the Don't Say Gay law. Disney's CEO Bob Chapek, initially non-committal, saying after the governor signed the bill into law, our goal as a company is for this law to be repealed by the legislature or struck down in the courts.
This state is governed by the interests of the people of the state of Florida. It is not based on the demands of California corporate executives.
Disney's special self-governance, which covers 40 square miles, allows the company to provide many of its own services, like fire departments, road construction, and building and zoning.
Today, I want to share with you some of our ideas for Disney World.
Without Reedy Creek, historians believe it's unlikely Uncle Walt would have realized his dream in Florida.
It's clearly political. The governor and Republicans in the legislature, at least many of them, seem to be trying to punish Disney.
That was Kerry Sanders reporting. By the way, a lot of reporters are using the kind of like pun or turn of phrase. It's not the most magical place on earth. And
such a pet peeve of mine.
Right, they're saying it's not the happiest place on earth instead of the most magical place
It's
on
not.
earth. Walt Disney World is the most magical. Disneyland is the happiest. So there you go. I had to get that out. That was the real problem this morning.
Thank you. All the Disney fans, I'm sure, were like, come on.
So when we're talking about this, the question I have is, first of all, with all the incurred costs that will happen if in 2023 this does come to fruition, does the ticket prices go up for the end user, for us? Does that cause us to have more, pay more money?
Us as like in general as a guest, and then us also specifically as Floridians. The reason we as Floridians get special ticket prices is because, we already kind of pay to have Disney here. And so, those Florida ticket prices, I know for my family, they're so nice. They're a few, dozen dollars cheaper, and that can really add up, on a multi-day Disney trip. So those costs could go up. And then, it's look at I-4 and then look at the roads in Disney.
Absolutely. Garrett says, can you say hi to me right now? Yes. Hello, Garrett. Good to see you. And then he asked, who's the girl? That's Victoria Lewis. And then switching gears, Jennifer Sardone Shiner wants us to say hello and talk about the Cajun Crawfish and Music Festival opening tonight at Abacoa. Jay will be at the crawfish eating contest. So, so check this out.
That sounds amazing.
Voodoo Bayou, and they are cooking some barbecue shrimp. Ironically, there's no barbecue in the barbecue shrimp. It's just a thing there in New Orleans. And look at it.
Okay, sure.
And it comes out, and then he plates it, and it just looks divine. It's sizzling and bubbling. They're going to do a food demonstration there tonight, or this weekend, and you can get the whole schedule by going to our website, wptv.com/taste, and clicking on the Your Weekend article. And Virginia, she's the host of the KVJ show on 97.9 WRMF. We realized when we were talking to each other this week that we have worked together for about 20 years. And this is her event because she's from New Orleans.
Such a fun weekend of music and food and dancing and culture and cocktails. Like, it's all my favorite things in one weekend.
And
it doesn't get better than food from New Orleans. It really doesn't.
I can't wait to go. And here's the thing, 1:00 tomorrow, Jay Cashmere is going to be a contestant in the crawfish eating contest. And Virginia asked the question that's on most of our minds.
From New Orleans, just like I am. And he said he would be game to get into the crawfish eating contest. This is going to be hardcore, and I know he dresses to impress. I don't want him to get crawfish juice on his pretty outfit.
I was going to say, that's a mess. You're twisted and...
Exactly. I'm wondering if he's going to have like some giant bib because he's going to want to leave and look clean and presentable and perfect.
Hey, he's also, he could get, or, one of those like lobster bibs or something, get him a whole poncho.
Exactly. So there's that eating contest, and then there's the sweet corn fiesta over at the South Florida Fairgrounds. I want to play back an OG video of when we did an interview on Today M5 at 11, and Holly Davis and John Faboli, you guys remember him. He was an anchor here for 20 something years. They competed against a real corn eating contestant on the air, and watch what happens at the end.
3, 2, 1. Oh my gosh, John, you are really going up. Well, he's just beating all of you, by the way. John, you're not supposed to take a break. You're supposed to keep going.
Eat and chew and eat.
Holly, I expected more from you. You said, there it is.
Whoa, with a mouth that big, you think?
Oh, the sound
Dude,
on
you
that.
guys are getting cremated.
Oh my goodness.
When do we know how long we're going for?
No, we're done.
We're done?
We're done.
Holly's like, there's no more gracefulness here.
I thought I was doing so good.
Wait a second. Yeah, there is no graceful way to do that.
Now watch this.
I got more than John. Come on.
Oh, the
As far as
sound
the
he
anchors go, Holly won, but you have corn on your nose, so you win overall.
John, good luck. Thank you
And
so
look at
much
his
for
face,
settling
though.
this debate once and for all. We want to make sure we get the details to our viewers. If we scroll up in the prompter
Yeah.
real quickly. Here we go. Uh-oh, Sean. The
Uh-oh,
EMT,
no.
we might need to call him over.
Sean's got issues.
If you're interested, check this out in person, the National Sweet Corn Eating Championship this
Watch me.
Sunday, 3 p.m.
Go ahead and step out.
at the fairgrounds, Yesteryear Village. Sean, you are the man.
You are.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh.
So this year
You
is
okay?
he was okay. He did lose some corn, and there was an EMT there just in case for safety. But that's when I decided I would never judge a food eating contest again in my life, because I was trying not. I stepped out of the shot too because I also was just kind of feeling it.
Yeah, and they're actually kind of dangerous. This is like a very weird aside, but it happened in Florida. Of course, they had a cricket eating contest to win a free boa, and it
Yeah.
did not go well. There were some ill individuals.
Do you know most of the world eats crickets for protein? Fun fact. I did a story on it once.
Good for them. I don't care how you dress that up. It's not going to happen.
Also this weekend, comedian Josh Blue, he's at the Palm Beach Improv. He has 5 shows. Tickets start at about $25 plus tax fee, 2-drink minimum. You might remember him from America's Got Talent. He was a finalist. He won Last Comic Standing here on WPTV. He has a self-deprecating attitude about his issue.
You gotta come to Florida.
Well, every weird story starts here, right?
Oh yeah, I just go there for the material.
What kind of material have you collected here?
Well, let's just say, looking like I look, I fit right in Florida.
You look great, man.
Just another wobbly guy on the side of the road.
You look like my neighbors. That's perfect.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
I love that he's able to, be self-deprecating about his cerebral palsy, and he integrates that into his humor in a fun, refreshing way.
It's always fun to make fun of Florida, man.
Yeah.
Whatever he is up to.
This whole broadcast has been making fun of Florida, man.
That's what it was like, Florida, love it or leave it. I'm like, there are going to be weird parts of Florida I'm not going to love, but that's Florida.
Also, this weekend, tonight at the Sunrise Theater in Fort Pierce, they've been having some good shows. Classic Rockers Kansas are going to be there tonight. Carry On My Wayward Son, Dustin.
Oh yeah.
That
was like my big one. Anybody who was like a Supernatural fan in their like middle school, high school days loves Kansas for like that one song.
For the one, yeah, there's, I think.
Carry On My Wayward Son was like the
We had,
big one. It was like a big part of the show. And so I just remember my mom being like, "You like Kansas?" I was like, "Is that what the band's called? They're on Supernatural. Like, they're cool."
Charlie and I went to go watch My Fair Lady at the Kravis Center, and I wrote a review
fancy.
actually, which is weird for me, just because it felt like, I know the Kravis Center has been open for this season, but it was the first time it felt like it was back. There were people there gossiping behind their playbills. There was people there without
The
masks.
culture is back.
Yeah, the culture is back. There's people there without their mask on because they're only suggested, not required. And so you got more of the, vibe that you had from 2018. And this set was fantastic. Here, I'll play a brief part of our interview with the lead.
Tell you, the costumes, the set, the acting, it was just all in unison. It was so fantastic. And my suspended disbelief was so strong. I loved it. Tell me about working on the show.
Yay, I'm so glad you enjoyed it. I mean, it's a dream come true. It's such a beautiful, iconic show. And to play Eliza now, today, it's so special. And to bring theater back to audiences after 2 years without it, it's really, really special. And I feel grateful to be a part of that.
What's it like filling Audrey Hepburn's shoes?
Oh my gosh, what a loaded question. I mean, at first it was very intimidating because Audrey Hepburn is Audrey Hepburn and she's iconic and she made My Fair Lady what it is today. But I realized, I have to find my own path. And I don't say I walk in her shoes, I walk right next to her. And so we're on the same journey and she's with me on stage. But I like to say that I am fully invested in Eliza.
Back in the day, those movie sets were vast and there was many of them, and they had these gorgeous painted backgrounds. And to do that in the theater is a little cattywump, it's a little complicated. So you guys have this revolving stage that sort of takes the audience through the different scenes, and cast members bring in and out light poles, and it's just really fantastic. But with all those moving parts, are you ever petrified that one misstep will cause a calamity?
Oh, yes. And you know what? It's live theater. So that's happened before. You know, we've had things break. We've had things, you know, revolve the wrong way. And it keeps us on our toes and it keeps us alive. And the audience loves it when that happens. So it's fun. It's always fun.
The costuming, especially when you go to watch the horse race, that's fire. That was on point. What's it like being in those kind of costumes?
It feels exactly like that. It feels like fire. They're gorgeous, gorgeous costumes. The ascot hat, especially, it's like when I come out, people gasp because it's so fun and iconic. But you know, I don't have a favorite. I love all of them because they all mean different things to me, and they're beautiful and stunning.
Well, I knew where all my gays were because we all gasped when your gown to go see the king was revealed. Like everybody went, ooh, like it was so on point. How does it feel to be in that?
It feels like a total transformation, just like in the show when she transforms into a princess in that moment, and everything, her hard work has all come to fruition for her. It feels like that too, because as an actor, I'm going through the motions of Eliza as well. You know, with all the quick changes and the running up and down the stairs, and finally a sense of calm and peace in that moment. It feels really great.
We really appreciate you taking the time to let us talk to you.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
She was so cool. Shireen Hamed is also in New Amsterdam right here on WPTV. And we talked about like how it's weird to go from musical acting, performing, and to a dramatic role on NBC, being bong ding, you know, and she said she loves them all, but she prefers the theater. So that's fun.
Yeah, I can imagine. And for all you Bridgerton fans, and you know, like the great on Hulu, everybody loves like those period dramas about like England society and everything like that. Like My Fair Lady is for you.
What's the one? We just watched it. Charlie's gonna kill me.
What's it on?
It's on HBO Max. The Gilded Age.
Oh yeah, those are like, there's so many of them now, like, you know, the period dramas, and like who, you know, doesn't love the fashion and the intrigue. I think I'm on like the 4th Bridgerton book or something now.
There's 4 books?
There's like 9.
Wow, I didn't realize it was
for
like
each sibling gets their own love story, and then they do another one for the mom.
Aw, really?
So yeah, oh, they're sweet. Yeah, I mean, you know who's gonna end up like together the entire time, but that's, you know, it's kind of nice.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm always concerned about the little I call her a girl because in the show she's a girl, the redheaded girl that's the gossip columnist.
That's the book I'm reading right now, Penelope.
Penelope. I'm always scared something bad's going to happen to her. I'm like very concerned about Penelope. I'm always right there.
Well, I'm in the middle of the book, so I can't say for sure yet this is the book based off her, but you know, she's pretty smart, so I think she'll be able to outsmart some other people in whatever that century in England is supposed to be. I feel like I should know that. Late 19th century.
All right. Charlie chimed in, Gilded Age. He knew where I was.
Thank you, Charlie.
Yep. And then Karen List from Komen. Can't wait to see My Fair Lady tomorrow night. Such an iconic story. Karen's so funny. She texted me one day this week. She's like, we need an MC for this thing on Saturday morning. Can you do it? And if Karen asks, you always have to say yes. So there you go, Karen.
All
right, everybody.
You got the best MC in West Palm or Boynton, wherever you live now.
Royal Palm Beach.
Okay, one of those places.
Be nice to everyone and yourself. Bye, guys.